Hey guys, this is Spencer with Defense Training. I wanted to bring you a subject today that I see with a lot of our students in our concealed weapons classes is choosing a handgun. And I see a lot of students choosing the wrong handgun. First and foremost, if you're looking to come take a concealed weapons class, especially from us, Defense Training in Anderson, South Carolina, please don't buy a handgun just to take the concealed weapons class. You go to the stores, and it's unfortunate, but you go to the store, and that guy behind the counter is there to sell you a handgun. 99% of the time, they're going to sell you whatever handgun. They're going to push you toward whatever, and you ladies are like, hey, get this revolver, and that revolver may not be what you need. Revolvers have a very hard trigger pull. Alright, so you go get that revolver, it's got a very hard trigger pull. Some of the double action only firearms have a very hard trigger pull. So that may not be what you need, and I get that with the ladies. And what I mean is if you get a firearm that has a very hard trigger pull and you can't pull that trigger, so you're here and you start pulling the trigger, it's going to do this. So it's going to go off target right there. Every time you pull that trigger, it's going to do this. And if you're not going to practice, now if you're going to practice a lot and to get to know your firearm, which unfortunately 90% of you are not, and this isn't, and I don't mean just ladies, I mean any of you. 90% of you are not going to practice. You may go to the shooting range once a year, twice a year, that's not practicing. I suggest everybody at least once a month actually get some live fire action, and honestly I suggest dry firing unloaded gun in your house. I suggest that daily. So if you're not one of those people that are going to do that, you need to find a handgun that you can pick up, you can function without any practice. So that's what you need to look at. Alright, so a couple of choices, and I don't get in the caliber debate because honestly any caliber will work. It all comes down to shot placement and accuracy of your shot placement, and then it comes down to how quickly you can hit them multiple times. And what do I mean? I mean that I can be accurate with bad shot placement. So if I'm shooting at the shoulder, that's not where I want to shoot at. That's not proper shot placement. But I can hit them in the shoulder every single time, but they can still attack me. And then if I need to be able to hit them quickly, because if they're going to attack you, you might as well go ahead and put 2 down range. Go ahead and shoot them, and I shoot for the spine. I want to hit that spinal cord, and I don't care where at in here. In fact, I tell most people to start low, so I'm hitting that stomach toward the spine, and then you're going to ride muzzle rise. Basically, you're going to come down, I'm going to go boom, 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 and as I keep pulling the trigger, the muzzle is going to continue to rise with those of you that don't practice a whole lot. If you practice a lot, you're going to be able to control that, and you're going to be able to hit it in the exact same place almost every single time. You know, you're going to be able to do a silver dollar even in the attack situation, because you're just using point shooting, and we're just pulling that trigger in that attack situation. But those of you who are not going to practice, there's a few things to consider. This is a nice gun to keep in your pocket. You know, I can slip this gun down in my front pocket. It's nice, it's easy to conceal, it's easy to carry, but it's not the gun I would choose. Now this is a little 22, so it's not that much recoil, so it's not a huge deal, but if this was like a 380, because I do have the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380 that's not much bigger than this. In fact, it's a little smaller than this one, but not much bigger than this one. And my pinky doesn't sit on it well, so I have to really practice to get in here and pull that trigger. You know, I can pull it. I don't like this one's trigger guard. It's a little too small for me because my knuckle actually ends up hitting the trigger guard right in here. But I do know I see a lot of guys, especially you guys, and I've already cleared and checked these firearms. When you come up, a lot of you do this, even with your offhand, or you do this with your offhand. Now this is what they call a FBI hold. The FBI used to teach their guys to hold like this, because you would actually pull back a little bit here. I don't like it. I like this. However, for those of you that pull like this, if that's the way you shoot, you're going to end up covering the muzzle and then pulling the trigger. So if you're not willing, or if you're not going to practice a lot to overcome that, that may not be the gun for you. Also, this slide isn't that easy to pull back. When you get here, I have to really yank it to get that slide, to get it chambered or in battery. Pulling it here is easy, but pulling it there, I have to really yank back on it. So this may not be the gun for you. This is not my favorite gun. It has functioned flawlessly, so for any of you looking to carry a little gun like this, as long as it functions flawlessly, go for it. It just doesn't fit my hands. And most people I tell, you know, this is probably too small of a gun because you're just not going to be able to control it or function it, make it function. You're not going to be able to manipulate it the way you need to manipulate it. Now, of course, you've got a little bigger gun. This one's a little easier. This is a heavy gun. I don't like this one. They make the polymer ones, but there's pros and cons. The heavier the gun, the less felt recoil you're going to have. The polymer, the more felt recoil you're going to have. But those of you with big hands, even I don't have big hands, my pinky doesn't fit. And again, you can still do this right here. And we don't want that. You need to practice, at least some good dry fire practice. And I don't even go right. I actually, my finger tends to go over because the gun's so small. It tends to go over the trigger guard right there trying to grab this one because I'm used to a mid-sized gun. So, and again, this is not a high-end gun, but it has never malfunctioned. So if you want to go to something like this, as long as it doesn't malfunction, go for it. But you need to get some range time to make sure it doesn't malfunction. I personally, if you're going even with the 22, I would go up to something like this. This is a mid-size. This is the Ruger SR22. Walther makes a P22, and then I believe the Sig Mosquito. I don't see a bunch of the Sig Mosquitoes. I see the Rugers and the Walthers. I would go to this. This is a 10+1, and there's several reasons I would go with this. My hand fits really good. I can get a really good grip. This slide is very easy to pull. Even when it's not cocked back, when I'm just loading it, it's very easy to pull. I haven't run across anybody that couldn't pull this slide yet. Now, this is the way we're going to pull it. We're going to go in here and we're going to get all our strength right here for those of you that are a little bit weaker. So we're going to get our strength right here. We're not going to pull it out here. I'm doing this more for camera to show you how easy it is. Also, on this one, now 22s are more prone to not firing on first strike. But this gun, click, nothing happens. I have that ability to pull the trigger again, and I can tell you that with the 22s, I've got a lot of rounds to this gun. This is one of my training guns. I've probably got 100,000 plus rounds. I've got it all figured out somewhere. I haven't counted in a long time because I do a lot of shooting with it. And I know I've got a lot of failure to fires in this gun. And I can tell you out of the failure to fires, it's probably 10 to 1, 15 to 1 maybe. I would say 15 to 1 that it doesn't fire on double strike. Meaning every 15, I'll get 14 that fires. If it doesn't fire here, it will fire here 14 out of the 15 times, even with 22. So for those of you who aren't going to train that tap, that rack, and that boom, that's something to consider. Is you may need to get a gun that has that double strike capability. This gun does not. So I've got it. It's not. Oh, it is right. Safety's on. You have to learn your firearms. This is not my carry gun. Click, nothing. It won't do anything else. So now I've got a tap. Now I've got a rack. Boom. And if you're not going to practice enough to get really good at that, to get really competent at that, you may want to go to something with that double strike capability. You've got your full hand on here. I've got a good grip on here. Click, nothing. Hopefully, boom. If not, now I can tap. But I've got an easy pull to rack, and then I can fire that firearm. These are things to consider. This is one of my favorite sizes of guns. A lot of you are going to shame on the Tauruses. You know, whatever. A lot of you are going to shame on the 22 long rifle. Oh, that won't hurt a flea. Well, I'll tell you what. You load up a 22 long rifle and let me shoot you with it. And let's see what happens. I guarantee you'll be dead in a split second, because I have good accuracy, I have good shot placement, and I can fire it really fast. That's what counts. So for those of you that are like, he shouldn't be pushing people toward 22, you don't know what you're talking about. Do I believe there are better calibers? Absolutely. However, any caliber in the right hands can take people down. And that's what we're looking for. And I would rather put somebody in a 22 that can handle a 22 but can't handle a 9 or a 380 or a 40 or a 45. So if you got somebody you handed that 380 or that 9 and they can't hit the broadside of a barn with it, but they can tear that target up with a 22, and I see this on a daily basis, that these people, I can put them in this 22 and they can eat that target alive quickly and accurately, but they can't do it with that 9. I'm going to put them in that 22. So don't listen to all the naysayers that are saying, a 22 won't do its job. It will with proper shot placement. And it takes a lot less training with a 22 than it does a 9. Now, if you're one that can go above the 22 and go to the 380 or go to the 9, because they make 380s in the 9mm size, which is good. They make a really good one with an easy slide to pull, which is the Smith & Wesson Easy 380. That's a good one to look at. It's got an easy slide to manipulate. It's the 380, a little bit less recoil, so you can look at that. Or we could go to the 9, and they made easy. This is a Taurus. I know there's a lot of naysayers as far as the Tauruses are concerned. However, I have a lot of Tauruses. I have quite a few. And I will run, as far as a concealed carry Taurus is concerned, I will run it against anything you have for a concealed carry. I'll put it up against it. We can run them. And I will guarantee you, now I'm not, and this isn't running them against, hey, my shot placement's better than yours, hey, I'm faster than yours. This is like mine will function flawlessly every single time. That's what I mean. And that's what we look for in a gun. So don't allow the people to talk you out of something because it's not a name brand. Do your research, talk to people, see if they function, because, man, I've had Glocks, I've had Kimbers, I've had SIGs, I've had the whole spectrum. I've had Colts fail in my classes. I've had them all. There's probably not a name brand out there, to be honest with you, that I have not seen fail in my classes. Now, I will have to say the Tauruses are one of the least ones, and the High Points, funny enough, is probably the best. I haven't seen it fail, but I think maybe once that I remember. But I have seen Kimbers fail multiple times. I've seen SIGs fail multiple times. I've seen Glocks fail multiple times. Now, not all those failures were the firearm's fault. Okay, so some of those failures were lint wristing. Some of those failures were not actuating it properly. You don't have a good grip here, so I've got this sloppy grip here, and this gun is just slopping. It ends up failing. Glock actually is one of the better ones to not fail at that, but I have seen it fail at that. I've seen Glocks with it catching in, and it would actually catch backwards, which was really, I've seen that the other day for the first time. So I've seen failures in all makes and models of firearms as far as concealed carry is concerned. For the most part, I've seen the failures. So don't let them say, hey, that's not a good, get what you can afford as long as it functions properly. Now, if it stops functioning properly, you need to take it to a gunsmith or trade it in with something different. These Tauruses and all your guns now have lifetime warranties. Get that lifetime warranty, send it in, have it worked on, have it sent back, and after that, you shouldn't have a problem. So don't let them talk you down off that. Now, with this gun, good grip. All my fingers can get on, I can get a good grip. This gun doesn't have a lot of recoil. This is a 9mm. 9mm is my go-to round. It's not my favorite round, but it is my go-to concealed carry round. In all honesty, 357-6 my favorite round. That's just too much to carry every day, too big to get decent recoil out of it. So I go to the 9. But I believe you can still get these in 40s, and then you can get similar sized in 45s if that's your thing, and of course 380 and lower you can get this size in as well. This is my daily carry. I went to the optic. That's another thing to do if you're used to iron sights and you go to the optic, you do need to know that there's a learning curve there for that optic, and you're going to have to practice a lot. So for those of you that are new shooters that are like, that optic's great, this optic takes a lot of practice. It has a learning curve with it. So you got to practice a lot to learn the optics. All right, it's just not, I put it on, I'm here, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on it. It's not that way, because you've got to get it the exact point in that optic to be right. Now, as far as sighting in and being able to co-witness off the target, be able to keep both eyes open, that's easier. But as far as actually aiming it, it's actually a little harder for those that if you have practiced with iron sights or have used iron sights all your life. So this is just a few things with choosing a firearm. One, you need to try a few firearms. If you come to my class, I can usually see right off the bat what kind of firearm to push you into, especially if you rent one of our firearms, and I can see how you're handling that firearm. I can push you to a firearm. Typically I've got, yep, this is where you need to start at least. And a lot of you, that is going to be a 22. A lot of you need to start in this type size 22. Again, this is the Ruger SR22 or the Walther P22, about the same size, roughly about the same gun. There's a lot of differences, but as far as a newbie to shooting, it's going to be roughly the same gun to you. Some of you can go right into that 9mm. Now I'm going to tell you, in a shooting situation, a lot of you can handle a 9mm, but when you shoot, you're boom, boom, boom. We need boom, 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 boom. That's the type of shooting you need to get proficient at. We need to be fast. We need to be quick and accurate. This attacker's coming. I don't have time to go boom, boom. It's going to have to be boom, boom. It's going to have to be really quick and really accurate. And that's what you need. So you need to pick that gun that you can do that with. Doesn't matter caliber. Get caliber out of it. Caliber does not matter. You can start at the 22, you can start at the 45. As long as you can handle it, it doesn't matter. And brand does not matter either. So don't listen to the people trying to tell you, oh, you got to have this brand. I like my guns. A lot of people don't like my guns because it doesn't fit their hand right. It doesn't suit them right. So you need to try out some guns. There are shooting ranges around. You need to rent some guns. You need to try them out. Just pay them their fee, go rent the guns, try them out. And the one that you find that you can shoot quickly and accurately and that you like, that feels comfortable to you, that's the one you need to choose. Okay? Again, this is Spencer, just trying to bring this to you, trying to shed a little light on how to choose a firearm, because it is more than just picking a firearm up, saying, yep, that's for me. You need to shoot it, you need to put some rounds down range, and really get a feel for that gun. This is Spencer with Defense Training. Stay safe, stay armed. Please like, subscribe, and comment on this video below. Thanks.